Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to be here at this historic Eye on Earth Summit. I would like to express my sincere appreciation to His Highness Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the President of the United Arab Emirates. Thank you for hosting this summit in partnership with the Environmental Agency, Abu Dhabi, and United Nations Environment Programme. And thank you to the Abu Dhabi Global Environmental Data Initiative for fashioning this inspiring program. We meet to address the challenges of how to utilize environmental and societal data in support of sustainable development. This event can't be better timed. The preparations for Rio +20 are gathering speed. Timely and accurate data contribute to monitoring and assessment. This is indispensable to informed policy and decision-making. But what does this mean? It means that governments, institutions, and communities around the globe must collect and maintain critical data and information for fact-based decision-making on sustainable development issues. In 1992, at Rio, member states and stakeholders highlighted the critical role of data and information. It is worth noting that of the 40 chapters of Agenda 21, 33 of them addressed the need for collecting, compiling, regularly updating, and distributing data and information. The entire chapter 40 is dedicated to bridging the data gap and to improving information availability to ensure better decision-making. The 20 years since the Earth Summit have brought great changes. The technologies available to collect and analyze data about our ecosystems and societies have advanced tremendously. Of strategic significance is the advance in geospatial data collection and analysis. Geospatial information system, or GIS for short, are capable of measuring progress on all three pillars of sustainable development. Let's take the case of food security and sustainable agriculture. GIS maps and high-resolution satellite imagery can assess crop growing conditions in key regions. On sustainable energy, GIS tools help locate the best wind power resources. GIS can be applied in land use management, zoning, and site design plans, helping to form and shape a sustainable city. GIS aids in disaster preparedness as well as mitigating the effects. Flood hazard mapping has proven to be vital for planning in flood-prone areas. There are also important applications of GIS in the area of oceans and marine resources, as well as freshwater management. In short, GIS can be humanity's eye on Earth, serving as the information guide for sustained development. Ladies and gentlemen, the United Nations has recognized the critical role of GIS in advancing sustainable development. Let me share with you a few examples of the United Nations work in utilizing geospatial information. First, The cartographic section of the United Nations Secretariat, the Department of Field Support, has a team of specialists who formulate cartographic standards and prepare maps and GIS products. Second, the Relief Web, the humanitarian information service managed by the Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, OCHA, helps track humanitarian crises worldwide with the aid of maps and infographics. 3, the UN Program on Global Geospatial Information Management, GGIM for short, of the Department of Economic and Social Affairs, which I head, develops standards for national data, enhancing the use, accessibility, and application of geospatial information globally. 4, in addition, our colleagues in UNEP, working with governments and scores of collaborator centers, have made increased use of GIS for environmental monitoring. GIS products have also been used by many other UN agencies in support of monitoring and decision-making. This past July, Economic and Social Council of the United Nations established the United Nations Committee of Experts for Global Geospatial Information Management. This new committee will work to improve the management and coordination of geospatial information at the global level. In October, this group had its inaugural meeting in Seoul, Korea, where I went for the inauguration with Korea Prime Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, in addition to GIS, the United Nations has a long history in the development and the use of environmental, economic, and societal information. The United Nations Statistics Commission is the apex entity of global statistical system. My department works closely with the Commission in the development of information and indicators, and in doing so collaborates with the whole UN system. For example, first, we are revising the system of environmental economic accounts with a view to providing internationally comparable statistics on the environment and its relationship with the economy. 2, we are revising the United Nations framework for the development of environmental statistics. 3, we are coordinating the work of interagency and expert group on the Millennium Development Goals indicators. This group, with inputs from close to 30 United Nations entities, is responsible for the data and analysis of over 60 indicators that measure progress towards the MDGs. As we approach the Rio +20, member states and stakeholders have underscored the urgent need to enhance integrated assessments and to raise the profile of data and information for monitoring, follow-up, and decision-making. Ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned in yesterday's ministerial Rio +20 session, the United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development, Rio +20 takes place in Rio de Janeiro next June, to be exact, on 20th to 22nd of June. It will mark a new chapter in the history of global sustainable development. The Secretary General of the United Nations has called it one of the most important conferences in the history of the United Nations, a once-in-a-generation opportunity. The Rio +20 conference, the new chapter, must be forward-looking and action-oriented. I share fully with what President Bill Clinton said today on this issue. But action is only effective one backed up by follow-up, monitoring, and assessment. In this regard, I see two challenges ahead. First, the need for integrated information and information networking. The United Nations publishes a number of flagship reports on world economy, global environment, and human development. We have, for example, the World Economic Outlook by IMF. We have a World Development Report by the World Bank. We have a Global Environmental Outlook by UNEP. And we have Human Development Report by UNDP. And we have the World Economic and Social Survey by my own department. Similar regional publications came out regularly, with thanks to the efforts of UN regional commissions, regional development banks, and other regional entities. NGOs have been publishing global reports on the state of the world resources. However, there is not one global publication that brings together the economic, environmental, and social pillars of sustained development. The United Nations system has so far failed in producing an integrated report on global sustainable development. This must change. If we are serious about following up on Rio +20, then making integrated assessment of a global sustainability as called for by the UN General Assembly will be indispensable. Of course, for this to happen, we need to have integrated data and information on all three pillars of sustained development. This is a challenge I want to bring to your attention. And it is my ardent hope that at Rio +20, we will make a leap forward in meeting this challenge. It is a challenge for all, for governments, for international organizations, for civil society and business. Let us tackle this challenge in partnership. Let this Eye on Earth initiative also be an eye on the Earth's ecosystems, an eye on the Earth's societies, an eye on the Earth's economy. In short, an eye on the Earth's sustainability. To achieve this goal, we must, as a priority, enhance the accessibility of data and information. Which brings me to the second challenge ahead of us. For policy to be based on science and facts, data and information must be widely and easily accessible. It must also be in formats usable for decision-making and in public domains. We must therefore support developing countries to strengthen their national capacities within governments, societies, and the business sectors. We must establish partnerships so that we can tap into commercial data and information sources to bridge data gaps. We must broadly distribute information products to civil society, to business and individuals, empowering them to make production and consumption decisions that are really sustainable. Ladies and gentlemen, Rio +20 has but one objective, that is to renew political commitment for sustainable development. And with commitment must also come focus and resources. I understand and appreciate that many governments have immediate and pressing challenges right now. One might be forgiven for thinking the future can wait, but the future cannot wait. We all know this. The most vulnerable countries, notably the least developed countries, and the small island developing states are already living a so-called future. In this future, There is sea level rise, worsening droughts, floods, and heat waves. Even developed countries find they are no longer immune. Though many can buy some time, time will run out eventually. Even now, timely access to information, for example, through early warning systems, can mean the difference between life and death. But real prosperity cannot be just about adaptation to environmental changes. It must set us on a course towards safeguarding the Earth's life support system, towards a green economy, and towards a more equitable society. And we must strengthen our institutional framework for sustained development. If we don't, we risk forfeiting the social and economic development gains of the last few decades, and the billion or more people who continue to live in extreme poverty face an even grimmer future. This is why failure at real prosperity is not an option. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the Real Prosperity Conference will take place 6 months from now. The process will not bear fruit if only all the stakeholders do not offer their fullest support. The ambitions of the actions agreed at Rio must match the scale of the challenges we face. Half measures will not do. This window of opportunity cannot pass us by. History has given us a chance to make a difference. Let's make it happen. I look forward to seeing you in Rio. Thank you very much.